Hey loves, it's your girl Zan back at you with another video. In today's video, we're going to be making a wig with some bomb bangs, and I'm going to be using a closure to show you how to get a more natural looking bang. I'm using some hair I got from Amazon from a vendor called All Run. I'll leave the information in the description box if you want to go and check that out. And I'm going to be using 3 bundles and a closure. I've already bleached the knots on my closure. If you want to know how it's done, I suggest you go find a video on YouTube. There are several to show you how to get that done. I'm going to be using a dome cap to achieve this look. I love dome caps because they're very stretchy and adjustable, and they'll fit to just about anybody's head. Now I'm securing down closure with T-pins to just secure it into place so you can know how it's going to lay on the dome cap, and you can just sew from there. Now what I'm going to do is just sew around the perimeter of the closure into the dome cap. But what I'm making sure that I do in the beginning of sewing down the closure is I'm not going to go through the band that's inside of the dome cap, but the material that's over the band, because you want to make sure that you're not sewing through the band, because you want to make sure that the dome cap is able to stretch. And as you can see, I have been sewing around the perimeter. For first timers, I would recommend sewing one side and then sewing the other side and then going around to the back of the closure. I personally have done this 1,000 times, so I'm just going to sew all the way around the perimeter of the closure, but it's important that you keep it laying flat and that you don't have it bulking up, because you'll be able to see that in the end if you do not lay, the closure properly on the dome cap. That's why I recommend doing one side at a time, because that'll ensure that you're laying it flat and you'll be getting no bulking. Alright, so once you're done, just gonna tie it off and begin to sew in your bundles onto the dome cap. I'm going to be using 3 bundles, so you're just going to start off sewing like you would regularly sew. I double thread my needles. Again, I'm making sure that I'm not sewing through the band of the cap, but through the material of the cap. And you'll see what I mean once you decide to do it for yourself. Do not sew through the band. I cannot stress this enough. You want to make sure that your wig is still able to stretch and move to fit your head. So, or if you're making the wig for somebody, you don't know everybody's head shape, but what I like about the dome cap is that it fits everyone's head, as long as you make sure that you are not sewing through the band. Listen, sis, don't sew through the band. But I'm just going to sew this in regular like I would do on someone's head. You're just going to make sure that you are placing the tracks back and forth, that you're keeping along with the shape of the head or the mannequin head all the way up until the closure. Alright, so now we are on our last tracks to fill in the space between the closure and the rest of the cap. You're just going to make sure that you're putting the needle through the closure and through the tracks as you sew this last track around the perimeter of the closure. And that's just going to give it a seamless look once the hair falls over the tracks and have you looking right though. Alright, so now that you have it all sewn up, I'm just going to brush the hair down and then I'm going to blow dry because I had already bleached the knots on my closure, so the closure was a little wet. So I'm just going to dry it in the shape that I wish to cut it later. So I'm just gonna brush the hair down all around. That way once we get to cutting our bangs, we don't have to worry about manipulating the hair back to the front. Now I forgot to add a clip of me cutting out the part of the cap underneath the closure, but you want to make sure that you do that and you don't cut too close to the threading. So now we're just gonna try on our wig. I'm using a flesh color wig cap so that underneath the closure you see something that resembles the color of my skin tone. So now I'm just brushing down the hair. I'm getting ready to flat iron this wig so we can have it straight as possible because I'm going to be rocking it straight. And I'm gonna do this before I get to cutting the bangs. Now I'm going to just cut off the excess lace that is in front of the hairline. I'm just going to cut that one off. And what is also an option is that you can use a elastic band to put at the tips of the closure for a more snug fit. But like I said, the dome cap is very versatile. It'll fit anyone's head. I actually have a small head, so it fits me pretty perfect. It doesn't feel like it's gonna fall off. It's very snug, but again, you can add an elastic band if you want to just make sure that thing don't go nowhere. So I'm just gonna do a quick pass through on the wig with the flat irons, and then we'll get into the cutting. Alright, as you can see here, I am kind of trying to get a feel for what I'm going to do. Playing with the hair, playing with the front to see how the bangs are going to look. And I'm super excited about it. Alrighty, so let's just get into cutting the bangs, you guys. What you want to do is just brush and comb all the hair to the front. Y'all see that scalp-like appearance at the top? That's why you use a closer, sis. So I'm just going to be using a razor comb. I'm going to section off the front. I'm going to measure where I want to cut, and I'm just going to comb it on out. Now I want my bangs to be pretty natural looking and wispy. I don't really want blunt of a cut. So yeah, that's why I'm using the razor, just to help get it really wispy looking. And I recommend that you cut your bangs long, like cut them longer before you cut them too short, because you can always take away, but you can never add the hair back. Okay, it's not like you can grow it back, sis. You can't sweat. So you want to make sure, you know, that you're measuring it off right. Salinas. Them bangs was looking like Selena bangs for a second. Okay, so as you can see, it's already starting to look pretty nice. But what I wanted to do was angle it out towards around my eye more. So you'll see me just continue to mess with the bangs with the scissors, and you just go in and clip until you get it to your liking. But for the most part, this is it, you guys. You have made you a super natural looking wig with your bangs hanging with your scalp at the top. Scalpiano. Getting down. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, stay. There will be more content. I thank you and appreciate you so much for watching. Peace.